been doing Warhammer for 20 years and I'm fed up. It's too expensive, don't want to do it anymore. What company would offer you the same, a like for like experience?
And this is where my argument completely falls apart, and I will admit it.
If you're playing an army, you should always have the aspiration to play it fully painted. Sprue Goons.
Problem with Games Workshop, they price their big army games like a skirmish game.
Yes, yeah.
It's all card based, so I like the whole idea of no dice, because dice don't like me.
Cards don't really like you either.
Not anything really doesn't like me when it comes to a game. There is no other company as big as them that offer the same experience in the tabletop space. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Sprue Goons podcast with me, Dickie, and the Contrast Corner King, Darren.
New one.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm going to go in now with a hot take, well, not a hot take, but a comment straight away.
Your shit.
Yeah, your shit. On a scale of, what we say about not swearing in the last 3 minutes, on a scale of 1 to absolutely mortified, how angry or upset were you with the whole Contrast Corner Imperial Fist Yellow and the whole spray rattle can debacle?
Yeah, I don't know really, because I think there's some good valid points.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, I think they're all valid. But yeah, sometimes it's just a bit like, yeah, no, I get it. It's a bad spray. Yeah. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Like I'm just showing what the contrast paint looks like. I don't need a lesson on like.
Yes, rattle.
Well, maybe I do.
Maybe you do. Well, it leads on to something else later on, doesn't it? But the only reason I ask is because I watched it on Instagram. You showed me it, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really good. And then it wasn't until other commenters were like, nah, ruins it for me. The spray's gone on bad. I was like, I didn't even notice. No. But then when I did look back, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. As soon as they said, I look back on it. It's kind of like sort of have a phrase which is like you're too close to it.
Yes.
Projects where it's like you can't see it, and I think you get that with like painting projects sometimes where I don't know, you go like way too far, you know, and then I might like show you a model and you'll be like, sounds silly, but is that meant to be red? Yeah. Like, and you haven't even thought about the fact that it's red because you're too like close to it. You're too kind of you're focusing on, oh, I want the red to look really good. Yeah. But not looking back and being like, hang on, it shouldn't even be red. What am I doing? So,
I just thought we'd get that out of the way now, because I know it was a bit of bloody hell, like, oh God's sake, when it came up, you're like, I think there's a couple of comments I noticed. I think on Instagram, one person was like, I like that effect. It gives like a mottled kind of.
Yeah, you get that sort of. Yeah, it wouldn't be. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'd stretch as far as I like the effect, but I kind of knew what they were saying in terms of like almost like a Treverian approach, which is like armor's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look like completely. You know, it's not weathering because it's obviously underneath, but it gives that sort of like rough and ready look. You know, and if you're not that bothered, then some people are probably fine with that.
Like you said, it was more about showing the colour than the underneath.
And like I said to you the other day, like if you're going to criticise a video, like make it funny, because there was a guy that commented and he was like, God, it looks. Where was this sprayed in the bayou? And I was like, yeah, fine.
If you're gonna
you absolutely ruined me. Yeah, that's funny.
If you're gonna ruin me, ruin me. Don't just be like, that looks rubbish because of the spray. No. Yeah. If you don't make me laugh, don't bother commenting. Yeah. Basically. Anyway, just thought we'd air that out now. Get that out of the way.
15 minutes.
Yeah, fine. Might notice a new, slightly different setup. We keep trying to get the right kind of what works best, but. Basically, Darren needs to hurry up and move into his house so we can have a dedicated
we need the den. We need the Sprue Goons den. Yeah, but until we get that,
it's going to be
we're making incremental improvements,
depending where we are. Anyway, well, we've kind of gone completely off topic there. But how you been hobby wise? What you been up to? Anything exciting? Well, that kind of leads into your main thing. Yeah.
So the main thing that I've done. Is I've bought an airbrush.
Finally, and I have been pestering you for a week. You need to get an airbrush.
It wasn't because of the comments on the Contrast Corner.
Yeah.
But
no, I had been talking to you about it earlier, hadn't I? But then when those comments come through, I was like, well,
yeah, if you had an airbrush,
this wouldn't have happened. Yeah. And then it was like, okay.
And I think it's because people have seemed to like Contrast Corner, and be like, oh, it's quite helpful, to know what the paints look like. I am a bit like, the models shouldn't be like, I don't know what you call it, but spattery.
Spattery, that's a good word.
That's a spattery model.
Yeah, spattery, speckled.
Or speckled, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, speckled.
Yeah.
But spattery's better.
Spattery sounds better, yeah. Making up words as well. Spattery.
Assault and spattery.
Oh, God. Who's the dad?
It's true. Maybe I should be.
Yeah. Maybe you are and you don't know it.
Oh.
God.
Exclusive,
Yeah.
So not because of the comments, but I think generally I've wanted one for a while. As you know, Dickie got one a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I've been playing with it a lot, getting used. I wouldn't by no means call myself a master in it now, but I've been using it for a bit of OSL. I've been using it for a lot of base coats and varnishing things. I couldn't imagine not having it now. Yeah. Even though I don't use it lots, but knowing that it's there if I want to. Like
we said before, it's a tool.
Yeah.
In the arsenal of a hobby painter, it's not. It's just not like a necessity.
I will completely admit that before I had one, I was a bit of a snide. I don't need an airbrush. No, they're just they just make you late. They make you late. They're cheating. They're not proper. Yeah. But then getting one, I'm like, actually, no, this is great.
Yeah, they're also quite fun to use, and I feel like that's something I've never heard.
Yeah, true. They are it's quite satisfying when you get it goes on just right. Yeah, so it is. Yeah,
I think it's just I don't know. It's a different technique, isn't it? But yeah, it's like really. Well, I know I've only just started. I can't imagine it's going to be like really fun the whole time. But yeah, I find it. I suppose it's more fun because I'm learning it. So, but yeah, I imagine it's pretty fun. Like you're spraying paint. Like that's it's quite cool. So, I've got an airbrush. Last time on the last episode, I think I'd just purchased the Tyrannid Combat Patrol, which we.
Well, it's another story for that, basically.
I realised that I'd messed up a little bit because we went to a hobby shop and I saw the ultimate starter set.
Not Leviathan.
No, not Leviathan, but the ultimate Warhammer 40k ultimate starter set, which is the Leviathan half of Tyrannids. I'm not sure whether it's Space Marine.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I thought you got an apothecary in the Space Marines. And obviously you don't get the big hardcover rule book.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, it's definitely different.
But you still get a lot in there.
But it was £100, and Leviathan's £150.
Yeah,
I don't think.
How much was your Combat Patrol?
Yeah, the Combat Patrol was £95.
What? So you're getting 2 lots of scenery. Yeah. 2 double-sided game boards to play on. Plus the Space Marines, which you can use for Contrast Corner or sell them, or even if you want to start your own little Space Marine.
Well, Dark Angels after the last episode.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not.
And that's that. Speaking of, I do know the difference in the law. Not that the comic got to me at all, but maybe he just doesn't know the law. No, I know the law. I know that sisters aren't Space Marines, but what I meant was they're the only thing that I like in power armor. Right. Moving on.
That'll be directed at a few people.
Yeah.
In particular.
Just pissing everyone off. Well, thanks for listening. I've lost track now. So you got the ultimate set. You're absolutely brilliant hobby me. I built it all for you.
Hobby me.
Hobby me. I built it all for you.
So I'm not. I wouldn't say necessarily I'm not a big fan of building, but I find it's not my strength, and for that reason, it seems to take me forever. And because I don't get much kind of hobby time, so to speak, it's I find it quite frustrating, and Dickie likes it.
So, well, this Dickie doesn't have a job.
Absolutely loves it. So.
I've got a week off work. Darren's like, "Oh, you've got a week off work?
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a start collecting. Here's a combat patrol's worth of Tyranids. Get them built for me. I'll come collect them."
Yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't wait to rip them off.
No, I couldn't. No, to be fair, it took me what?
You smashed it out.
Can't remember how long it
took
me.
Half a day or
not even half a day.
Yeah.
4 hours. Not even that. To build all of it. Yeah.
So I've, in terms of like actual hobby that I've done, mess about with the airbrush, with the Tyranids. I've sprayed up 10 termagants, and I'm gonna give them a go next with the new scheme that's posted a tutorial, Helldivers 2, just like a basic tutorial Tyranid scheme. But that is my scheme. That's
but you're gonna do. Are you gonna do a bit more balls deeper on it when you do your own scheme? Not saying that what you did was rubbish. What I mean is you did.
No, it's basic. That was the idea. It was like if you like Helldivers 2, here's a basic scheme, like without going mad.
And you kind of, when you do yours, you're gonna go.
I'll do a few highlights. And,
I might put a tuft on the base or something. Pushing the boat out.
I did put a little bit of little foam rocks and things on the base already.
Right. Anything else? You been up to anything else hobby-wise?
I did have a bit of an experience with the airbrush. I think you had a kind of a similar thing. I think with you were doing like Vader, and I know when you were experimenting with the airbrush before, we were saying like sprayed in blue, sprayed in red, that kind of thing, and I find with the airbrush it's easier to kind of go too far.
Yes.
You get a bit carried away and think like, try this. Try
because
this.
It's fun. What if I had a bit more of this colour? I think I said to you yesterday, didn't I? That is, for me, that is knowing when to stop is almost a skill in itself.
Yeah.
You're like, a bit more. What I could do? No, leave it. Get the brush out, and because I've done that on most of the models I painted with the airbrush. I get too carried away and then end up.
And it is a learning. You're gonna have to learn on models. It's not a case of, I wish I hadn't learned that on this model. Well, you're going to have to learn it on a model of some sort.
Yeah.
But, we're doing a project with Alex at Warp Miniatures, who has kind of given us access to his Patreon to do a little bit of
which you should subscribe to if you love his miniatures, because his sculpts are great. And I've said to you
so many cool things on there
several times. If I had a 3D printer, I'd be all over that. I'd be like, right, I'm subscribing.
You'd be full-time printing.
I'd be working just to earn resin money, basically. But so you've been chipping away at one of the wraiths.
I painted it with a brush. And then I got my airbrush and I thought, I don't know, it was a little bit too light as well. I kind of tried to do some like stark highlights, because Alex's sculpting style kind of, I think, lends itself to like rough brush marks and things like that. It almost looks like that kind of painted, animated, like old school animation. So I thought, and the one he painted up was similar to that. So I'd kind of done that, but because the ring wraiths are black, I think I'd take it, and I wanted there to be contrast, which is kind of hard when it's black. It's like Black Templars where they put like a white on their corners.
I hate that. I hate white.
Just a bit
stark contrast. It's too much. I like. Sorry, go
on. But I'd lightened that up, but it just looked a bit too. I think I'd seen you a picture, and it just looked a bit too light, a bit too. Looked grey rather than black.
I was like, send me a picture. I'm sure it's fine. And then you sent me the picture. I was like, oh yeah. I think I said to you, if I'm going to be brutal, it looks grey. It doesn't look black, which you knew yourself, But it's one of those things. I think you kind of. So
I thought, get the airbrush out. So I gave it I put gnome oil in the airbrush, which it absolutely drinks. It's greedy.
It's greedy.
So did like a black wash, and to be honest, it looked brilliant. I should have just left it.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
What were you saying? You get too carried away with the airbrush?
So I was thinking, I've kind of, that had like really blackened it down. So you could still see, because it was just a wash, you could still see all the highlights I'd done. It just kind of taken it down a couple of tones. So I then went over with sort of like, I'm gonna, because it had darkened it down, I thought, well, I'll put a grey through and do it from
or
the
with
top.
the airbrush.
With the airbrush.
It's going to go over everything you've done.
No, over the top. So
Right.
it kind of hits like a zenithal.
Yeah.
And then, can't remember, I put like a purple in, which was part of the idea, but I just didn't really execute it very well. And on like the bottom, basically, long story short, and about 18 greys later, this model just looks primed.
Just looks primed, yeah, brilliant. So what you're saying is you should learn to use the airbrush on models. So you decided, right, Alex from Warp, working with him, we're going to paint some of his models to promote on Instagram for him. Let me practice my new airbrush on a project that we're working with someone else on. Yeah.
It's like that "Come Dine With Me" reference from a couple of episodes ago. Like, cooking a dish you've never cooked.
Yeah.
Like 6 strangers. Makes sense.
Yeah, I've got 100 of like Legion models sitting in a cupboard.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to touch them. I'm going to use this collab model because why not? And then basically spend all night to make it grey. Fine.
I did think though the airbrush puts it on quite thin. You know,
it does put it on.
I can't do much damage.
I was literally going to say to you, to be honest, you're lucky it was with an airbrush because it's so thin that you won't lose any detail.
I've essentially primed it.
Yeah.
So fine.
So you basically project all night to start again, basically.
So that's what I've been up to.
Mine isn't very good. I know I've said it a few episodes in a row now, but my 2024 has really started with a whimper. I was thinking about January, February last year. I know we're in March now, but January, February last year, I had painted loads of Legion.
Yeah, you got out of the blocks.
Yeah, Nighthorn. I think I did that Nighthorn.
That Legion of Grief you did. Well, you did it really quickly.
Yeah, I was just like, gone in January. This year, someone's broke both my legs. I'm dragging myself along. I'm like, oh God, what have I done? I did a bit more Stuff Fables. Yeah. Finished some of the enemies on Stuff Fables because they all went a bit wrong. So I kind of redid them. Yeah. We should overlay some pictures. We should do. You know, a professional podcast would do that.
It could be a little bit more work. Yeah, I can overlay some pictures.
You need to take some pictures first. But anyway, finish them off. Yeah. And speaking of Alex, I've been doing it properly. I've been, actually not just airbrushing the shit out of them. I've been actually trying to paint them. Yeah. I've done a couple of gnomes for we got sent a unit of gnomes, the leader and the wizard for the gnome army. Yeah. So I've done the wizard, I've done the leader, great model, and I'm going to start the unit of gnomes, my next thing. But I don't know whether to batch them or do them individually. There's only 7 of them. Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking, do I just, all the hats, all the skin, all the beards?
I tend to batch them.
Yeah.
But it depends on what kind of standard you're.
Well, again, because we're doing it like not a favour for Alex, but he's been good enough to us to.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to be like, you go, washed it. I want to. Give
Plus, we absolutely love the models.
I love them, but we were just saying before we started recording that you don't realise how small they are.
Yeah, they're like tiny.
They're gnomes, so they're like night goblins, from Warhammer.
Yeah,
maybe even smaller,
like nobblers.
Yeah, they are tiny. Obviously, they're meant to be.
Yeah.
But it all has to be done through the sexy gogs. It doesn't have to be, but if you want to get the details and do the faces and even do their eyes, it's like, I need. So it's quite, I say intensive. Oh, first world problems. It's not intensive, but it's. I don't know. I'm not really fumbling my words a bit here, but it's almost like they're. Although there's not hundreds and hundreds of layers of detail on, they're great models, but they're not like GW. Yeah. It's got 14 belts around him and a cape, and he's. It's really good models. They're fun to paint, but they're very small. So it's kind of, it's like, this is hard work painting these smaller models. So I could never do like a night goblin or army, because I'd be like, oh my god. But no, they're really fun. They're really great models. I just need to base them, and then start on the next 7.
Vader, you finished your Vader.
Finished my. Have I not done that since?
I think you might have done. Yeah,
I think I did. I think
you got about your 5th Vader.
Yeah, 5th Vader. I've started a few more of the enemies for Stuff Fables. That's it really. There's things in line that I want to do, and there's games and things that I'm looking at that Darren's like, no, not more.
Well, we've had a bit of. I feel like you need to kind of explain yourself on the on the 40k wobble. So let's just kind of I'll
do we have to? Can we not just carry on?
Well, I'll give you a very brief for all the listeners.
You wobbled?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm going to give you
We wobbled.
The wobble history.
The wobble history.
So we said we were going to do 2020 40k, which is we want to play a game of 40k, whether that be Combat Patrol or a proper full game at Warhammer World at some point in 2024.
Yeah, doesn't it? We originally we were going to try and tie it in with the Games Expo, weren't we? Go up because we're going that way anyway. But we've kind of realised that we don't even know if you have to book. I'm assuming you have to book a table. Plus, a lot of people will be up there for that weekend because of the expo. So we've almost said, worst case, if we get the 40k done in September, then we'll just have a weekend. We'll go have a weekend.
That's the aim.
That's the aim. Yeah.
We started.
So the goalposts have moved slightly, rather than
they moved.
They're there still, but they've kind of moved.
So Dickie was going to do Eldari, and I was going to do Grey Knights. So I'll give you the really short version. I ran out of steam on Grey Knights, way more than Dickie ran out of steam on Eldari. Sort of just didn't really go anywhere. I then was painting some Tyranids for Contrast Corner and for the Helldivers 2 Spratorial. Sort of fell in love with them.
Yep.
A comment resonated with me actually from, I don't know whether it was from one of our reels or from something else, but it was saying that like Tyranids are quite an addictive thing to paint. Like once you paint one, you can't stop, kind of thing. And I thought that was interesting because obviously that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So I then decided to get Tyranid Combat Patrol. Haven't done anything with Grey Knights yet.
Ultimate set.
The Ultimate set, yeah. And since then, Dickie's kind of lost interest in the Eldari.
Yeah.
It kind of waned because you did a test model. I wasn't really going with the Grey Knights, so I think I'll take responsibility for the fact that we didn't really get that flywheel going.
No. We normally, when we generally do a project together, and guys out there and girls will probably feel the same, that when you're doing it with someone, you kind of feed off each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done this, I've done this Grey Knight. Oh, I've got my unit of Eldari done. Oh, I've done the Dread Knight. Oh, I've got my Wraith Lord. Yeah. But you were
each other on.
You were kind of, and I've never heard it from you, but you were like, I'm really not feeling these. Like, I'm really not feeling these Grey Knights. I can't remember what your reasoning was. I think it was just the amount of detail, and it was just like, oh, this is just a bit of a slog.
I don't really know. I think it was one of those armies where I feel like if I was in a different headspace, I would smash them out. I absolutely love them. Don't get me wrong. I love Grey Knights. Love the look of them. Love the idea of them. Demon Hunters. New games come out as well on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Demon Hunters one. But yeah, I absolutely love them. You used to do Grey Knights, and I was like in love with them.
Yeah.
They looked amazing. But I don't know. Something just it wasn't clicking. Like you say, that is quite rare for me because I think that when I start a project, I know that I'm going to finish it, if that makes sense. Like I am that sort of person.
Even if you
just generally when it comes to stuff. Like
even if you don't finish it there and then.
Yeah.
For instance, like your Mandalorian Commandos army, the Legion.
Yeah.
You might not be doing it now, but it will get done.
It will get done. Even my ogres.
Yeah.
I haven't got to a point where I'm like, I probably won't finish. No, they'll be finished.
But I think the Grey Knights is the first one where you're almost like,
they won't be done.
It's beating me. I don't want to do them.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this has never happened.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I think you've kind of messaging me again saying like, oh my God, Dickie, these Nids, I absolutely love them.
I'm enjoying these. They're kind of for Games Workshop. And it's not a case of, I don't want to paint anything detailed.
I don't.
But I think where I'm doing like the tutorials, the contrast corner, all of the other stuff in my kind of hobby time, like editing the podcast, all that kind of stuff, I almost like I want to have the most fun I can have. And I really found that when I painted the Tyranids, it was quite fun. Like because they haven't got like 18 belts, Do
you think it's because you're seeing that progress?
I think so.
So like you said, because you've got limited hobby time, that when you do paint, you want to see something happening. Yeah. Not, I've got a night to paint tonight and I've done the gold trim on one Grey Knight.
Yeah.
It's that you get that.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's also something really different. Like it's not what I'd normally paint either.
True, I would never choose Tyranids for you in a million years.
No.
That's like, what? That's you do all the knights, paladins, white armor, good guys. You high elf. You would Lumineth. Let's not talk about Lumineth, but but you would never ever choose Tyranids, which they're an evil army and they're aliens. You know,
and they're like horrible.
Yeah, you'd never choose them. So yeah,
but I think it was partly triggered by Helldivers as well. Like playing that, and I think I talked about it last time, but like when you're playing against the bugs, I know the robots are even worse, but when you're playing against the bugs, like, you know, they're scary. Like you get up in your face. And
but do you think if you stop playing Helldivers, your interest in Tyranids will wane?
I don't think so, because I think that's kind of like
sparked it.
It sparked it. Yeah, I'd still get that. You know that I can't remember what it's called, but the
biomorph, the big old like spidery thing.
Yeah, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's terrifying. I like it.
It's not like you at all. No. This is the short version of the 40k thing.
This is the short version. Yeah.
And basically, I think, like you were saying, because your interest in Grey Knights waned.
Yeah.
Your
interest in 40k's waned.
Yeah. There's no, and it's not that I'm not going to do it. I will do it, but we've been having lots of discussions about combat patrols because I think that is the best place to start.
Yes.
Just buy a combat patrol. We'll play that. And if we go, right, I don't really like 40k, then it's done. Then you just leave. Or we could play one-page rules.
Yeah, mothball it and just say, right, we'll come back to that in a few months' time.
Yeah.
We might change our mind.
But I can't decide on The problem with me is I'm more fantasy.
Yes.
I love fantasy themes, looks, like AOS, the old Warhammer fantasy.
Yeah.
I know Legion is sci-fi, but that's more like space opera. It's
more
kind
the thing is, it's an IP, isn't it?
Yeah, space.
And obviously 40k is an IP, but
Space Wizards basically.
Yeah, it goes beyond miniatures.
Yeah, but there's, like I was saying last episode, there's lots of 40k factions that I like in terms of aesthetics. I like the Sisters or Adeptus Sororitas. I like
Space Marines.
I love Space Marines. No, I like them. I do like the Leagues of Votan.
Yeah,
I like Tyranids.
Yeah,
the look of them. Necrons. There's lots of factions that I like, but it's one of those, I like them, but do I like them enough to play them and paint them?
Yeah.
And then I try to come at it from the other angle. Oh, should I just buy Necrons and spray them silver and dry brush them? And but then
it's a bit like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's like, I don't really want to. I want to paint an army that I enjoy. I do keep looking at the Leagues of Votan, but they're very. I think it's kind of what we discussed a lot, but it's very kind of. Some of the models I think are absolutely brilliant, and then some other models in the same army, I'm like, I hate that. Not hate, like I hate, but I don't like.
Do you hate anything in the combat patrol?
I'm not keen on the. No, they're okay. No, I'll take that back. There's, I forget what they're called. They've got the big bat again. Shows my kind of. They're a new race as well, but they've got the big axes, and there's a unit of 5 of them, berserkers or something.
Yeah.
Kin berserk. I don't know. Someone will sure comment and who doesn't know the law, which I don't. I don't about Leagues of Votan.
True. Next comment.
Like / blocked. But they've got like 5 and 4 of them with big axes. No, sorry, 3 of them with big axes. One with 2 power fists, which look really cool.
Yeah.
But then the 5th one has got like a rocket launcher thing,
right?
Like a mine launcher thing, and he's got a little man standing behind him holding his weapon.
Right.
I hate strong, but I don't really like that model in that combat patrol. But I thought, oh, that's right, I'll just build 5 of the ones with the big axes. But you can't in combat patrol, can you? Have to play them, build them as they are on the box, because that's what combat patrol is designed to be as, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I looked into it online, a lot of people said that rocket launcher guy is actually really good to have in your army. So it's like, oh.
I feel like you're being a little bit of a tart.
Oh, I'm being a massive tart. Yeah, definitely. And again, like I said, disclaimer, I don't know all the law for 40k. I don't know the law for Leagues of Votan. So that's something I'd have to look into. Again, the Sisters combat patrol box as well. It kind of, I had 3 in my basket the other day. I had Sisters, the Leagues, and Necrons. Oh, and Orcs. Yeah. Because I just like Orcs. They just run up.
I think you like painting green as well.
Yeah, I like painting green and I like Orcs. So So I'm like, yeah, orcs, you can't really go wrong. But then, yeah, you can't really go. And again, it's that mental. If you're stopping at if you're stopping at combat patrol, then you don't really need to worry about the rest of the range. You know what I mean? Oh, but I'm going to need to buy 100 more orcs. So you're not if you're doing combat
We
patrol.
don't chase the meta either. So if there's a model you didn't like the look of, just don't buy it.
Yeah, well, if people saw our Legion lists, they'd laugh at us. You know, proper competitive players. They'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I won't play it without a Jedi or a Sith. So it's like, yeah, but no, don't care.
You've got to play with Krennic and 40 Stormtroopers.
No, don't want to play that. I want to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where that it's still on the cards, but it's just a case of, well, Darren's kind of summed it up. I've got to stop being a tart and just put my big boy pants on, as Darren would say, and choose a combat patrol.
Yeah. Yeah, but I understand why it's difficult. You know, it's quite a big decision. You know, I've had the luxury of, so you might think, well, how did you get to painting Tyranids without having Tyranids? But it's because I bought some Tyranids and I bought some Space Marines that have been broken from the Leviathan box set. So I had the luxury of having painted Tyranids to then say, hang on, this is quite cool. I want to do this. Whereas, you know, if you had this selection box that we've said about before,
that'd be a great idea.
You know, if you painted one Votan, you know, a couple of Necrons, a sister, you'd be like, oh, okay, no, I know. Yeah, that looks brilliant. I know what I want to do. I like that. Whereas it's an £80 decision.
Yeah, and again, it's. I think it is a lot of money for plastic models. We'll get onto that. But like you said, I know it sounds, you know, dramatic, first world problems, but it is a big decision to decide.
Yeah, it's not just £80 either. It's combat patrol, and potentially that is your
so if we love it,
army.
Or if we think, we don't like 40k, but we want to go down the one-page rules route, you're still going to need to buy more. From the army to, you know, if you do go down the 40k route, like you said, you're going to need your codex, you're going to need, you know, any supplements you want, you're going to need, you know, so it is. But initially, like in my head, I think it helps me mentally focus and just think combat patrol. Yeah. Don't look past that.
Definitely. Yeah. Me too as well.
If
you were saying paint 2,000 points of tyranny inside, oh god, that's crazy. But with this combat patrol, I'm thinking I'm excited to try and get through it. It's something I've never really done.
And side note as well, I don't know if anyone's seen it, but GW are renaming their AOS Vanguard boxes to Spearhead.
Yes.
And I think 4th edition is due of AOS this year. I think it's been 3 years since 3rd edition. Every 3 years. I think it's this year. Calling it now. Well, I'm sure everyone else has probably said it already, but they are going to do combat patrol in AOS. It's going to be called Spearhead. So you buy a Spearhead box,
and then you can have a game.
Which is, again, that is dangerous.
That is dangerous.
Cities of Sigmar, Seraphon,
anything.
Or
Lumineth.
Yeah, you'd know that's all you've got to buy, that one box.
That would be tempting,
Yes, that's dangerous. Speaking of things GW have done this week, we're going to slightly... What have they announced this week, Darren? Which is a bit... I've got one as well for me, to be fair. But you do yours first.
Yeah, so... so a bit of news. But
again, not that anyone listening doesn't know already, but
you'll be well aware, But so just a little caveat at the beginning. I absolutely love Dark Oath, and I'd been looking at getting the Dark Oath Savages, which is a Warcry warband, from a really old set. I think it was Red Harvest.
You getting all your names right, you know? Not that you've been Googling shit. I don't know the law. Dark Oath said chaos rules.
I only know it's from Red Harvest because I've been looking for Warcry warband for ages. But love the look at them. I did the Null Spirit for the warband that came out for Underworlds, and love doing them. So they're same kind of vibe. Done Tolgar, exactly the same
basically
vibe.
any barbarian marauder that GW released, Darren wets himself basically.
So I'd actually bought the Dark Oath Savages and Googled, can you have a Dark Oath army? And there was loads of Reddit articles saying, like, not really. You can, but not really. They're not very good. And then literally the next day, Yeah, we're releasing a Dark
I sent it to you, didn't I?
Army set.
I sent you, and I was like, oh dear, you're in trouble, Darren.
Yeah.
I just sent you that link to the Dark Oath army box. But the models, again, I always say, oh yeah, Darren loves good armies. Yeah, Tyranids and Dark Oath.
Fun.
Chaos. And
back in the trend.
Yeah. But they all look great.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do much for me, the Conan barbarian look thing. But even I looked at them and I was like, yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
That Lord, is he a Lord? I don't know, but the guy on the horse, you know, the leader on the
Big
horse,
boy.
looks really good.
Yeah.
So that's going to be are you going to get it?
I don't know. I need to smash through these Tyranids and then we'll talk.
Yeah, but it'll be a limited edition box. So it's not going to be around forever. They'll, classic GW, they'll release that, and then about 4 months later, they'll release the army. Like they did with Cities of Sigmar.
I'll probably get it.
I'll probably get it, chuck it in the cupboard. And mine is not quite as extravagant, but they, again, same reveal. Was it the same reveal? Same show they revealed it?
I don't know what you're going to say, but I think so.
The gnomes.
Yes.
For gnomes on the brain.
Day before, I think.
The Blood Bowl gnome team. Now, a Blood Bowl is another one. We always gone about on in the hobby solar system. One that's been on the kind of circling the solar system on the edge
for a while.
But we've always been. I've always liked the idea of Blood Bowl 7s, which again, I'm sure everyone knows, but it's basically like Blood Bowl, but you have less money to spend on your team. You have a smaller team. I think it's a smaller pitch or a different type of pitch, and it plays quicker than normal full Blood Bowl, which can take like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we've always liked the idea of that. Oh, but there's no, I like this team, I like that team, and then bang, GW are like, right, here's a team you'll love. Absolutely love those gnomes, especially with the goose on there and the little one and the badger, the fox carrying a ball. I'm like, oh my god, I need this team.
Yeah. The thing is they're absolutely great models, and they're a Blood Bowl team. Like it's like they've. I think if they'd released the models, even as like a what they call like an anniversary, set of models, you would have bought them.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're also a Blood Bowl team is like...
It's like, shit, Blood Bowl's on the cards. Yeah. You better get looking at those Blood Bowl teams. And which one did you choose? Surprise, surprise.
Definitely not the Norse team.
So yeah, that's kind of my exciting GW release. I don't know when they'll release them. That's the problem. GW, it could be next week. They go out for pre-order next week. They go out for pre-order in May. Don't know, but they look absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So characterful. I love everything about them.
Yeah, they look cool.
So they're going to get purchased again, even if I don't play Blood Bowl. They'll be painted and put in the cupboard just because they look great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they'll be brilliant. They'll look so good in the cabinet.
So I think that's pretty much that was a bit of rambling, wasn't it? That went on a bit there, but
I think the last thing, just to kind of keep it as, because this has been a big intro where there's been a lot going on, but basically Dickie messaged me today trying to get us to do Malifaux.
Right, no, I was going to keep that quiet because you look like complete knobs, but I was last night I was in a deep dive online looking at combat patrols, looking at paint schemes for different factions and downloading the combat patrol data sheets for it, trying to figure out which one I want to get. Yeah. I took the car today and I planned to drive to the closest hobby store, decent hobby store to us, which is nearly an hour away, but to pick up a combat patrol. Didn't go because I got a banner come up. I was on the Wayland Games website and there was Malifaux, and I obviously know what Malifaux is. I did have some of the models years ago in first edition. Never played it, but it's all card based, so I like the idea of no dice because dice don't like it. But
cards don't really like you either.
Not anything really doesn't like me when it comes to a game. But I thought I'll have a look because I was getting a bit frazzled with looking at combat patrols, and the new sculpts are just stunning. I said to you, didn't I? I don't think there's any crew box that I don't like. So I went to a bit of a rabbit hole on Malifaux, how you start. I went on their website is brilliant. It tells you how to start the game. Yeah. They've got free rules to download online. It explains what all the different boxes are, because there's like starter boxes, core boxes, add-on boxes. There's keywords. It tells you what keywords you need to buy for extra boxes of
to
add to your crew.
Yeah.
But I've almost gone the other way. You know, like with Combat Patrol, it's like I don't really like many of them, so I can't decide which one to buy. And it's £80. It's a lot of money. Malifaux, it's like, yeah, they're a lot of money. They're about £45-50 for a crew core set, which is the core set is how you start your crew.
Right, yeah.
You can play with that, but you buy that and you play, and then you can add different models in. But I can't decide. In every faction, there's about 4 or 5 crews. I'm like, yeah, I love it. I'd buy that. Yeah, I love it. I'd buy that. Yeah, I can't, you know, it's almost like I can't really...
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah. So and again, the only thing that's probably holding me back is should probably put that money towards the Combat Patrol. Because you've got your Tyranids. We're going to have this discussion offline. We're going to offline or off after recording. We're kind of doing it now. But you have got your Combat Patrol for Tyranids.
Yeah.
You're underway on your Tyranids this time rather than Grey Knights when you were like, yeah, I'll put silver on one model. It's like, no, you've sprayed 10. Yeah. You're going to, you know, you're like,
they will be progressed this weekend.
Yeah. So come next week, you'll probably be like, I'm halfway through the unit. Well, shit, I haven't even bought one yet. You know what I mean? So part of me is like, I should probably, as Darren would say, big boy pants, go and buy a Combat Patrol. But it's, do we need another game? No, we don't.
And the thing is, I'm the worst person to talk to because
you love
Malifaux looks absolutely
You've said about
brilliant.
Malifaux. In my defence, you've said to me about Malifaux in the past.
Yes.
You've been like, Malifaux looks great. I'd love to play that.
It's a Wild West setting, which I mean,
well, it's kind of it is Wild West, but it's
Wild West themed.
There's themes of Wild West in it, which you love. But it's also got monsters, you know, gremlins. It's just brilliant, and every crew looks so unique.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, the sculpts are, like you say, the models are great.
So it's kind of it's on there, but I feel like it would be. I feel like a Combat Patrol would be a much more sensible option. Yeah, but it's a harder choice to make.
Yeah, I suppose if you bought a crew or a warband or whatever they're called,
I think they're called crews.
It would probably be a Combat Patrol killer.
Yeah, 100%. Because if I bought, say, when I was English, that guy looks like, you know, from Assassin's Creed. Oh my God. Again, just thinking about the models, I'm like, oh, it's great. And they do each faction as a book you can buy for them, which tells you their backstory, a bit like Games Workshop do. It has the stats for the models, but it also has story and lore about each master. The master, the leader of the crews. So I thought it's only like £18. I'm buying that because I love all lore and, you know, read all the lore of the crew, the faction you choose, and get the crew box. But you are 100% right. If I ordered that tomorrow, for now it would be a combat killer. Combat Patrol.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you were saying it. It wouldn't kill it, but it would mean
that gets on the back burner while I do that. Problem with the difference, I think, with that is if I buy the Malifaux crew now, you're doing Tyranids. Yeah, great. You finished Tyranids. Yeah, but I've done my Malifaux crew. Yeah. Right, let's put them both in the cupboard then, because neither of them can be used. Yeah. Whereas I think, again, you've kind of got a head start on the Tyranids. I should probably just stop being a pussy and just go and buy a Combat Patrol.
And you'll find out in 2 weeks what that Combat Patrol is.
Malifaux. Right, let's
the Infinity.
Let's go there again. Let's get on with the main topic, shall we?
Right, let's get to the meat of the episode.
That's enough
after that big old hobby ramble. Yeah,
see, I've got a bit off topic there, but anyway. So this week is kind of my idea, but you know, last minute, when we were talking this morning about what to talk about. Yeah. But it all stemmed from actually something that happened to me today. So I went to, I say a local hobby shop. It's local, but it's not really a hobby shop.
I suppose it is a hobby shop, but it's not a...
Not for us. No. Not a tabletop miniatures hobby shop, you know, like your Whaling games, your Element. It's not one of those.
It's a more traditional Hornby scale model
few board
shop.
Games with a little bit of Warhammer in the corner. Yep. I say a little bit. They had quite a bit normally. Anyway, I needed to get some plastic cement after absolutely rinsing through it for Darren's Tyranids. So I was like, I'll make a little trip of it. Because I was going to go and get the Combat Patrol, like I said, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go all that way. But I will go to this closer shop, which is about 20 minutes away. So I obviously drove there, went in, and the corner that he used to have for all his Warhammer was pretty much non-existent. He had half a dozen boxes of, you know, kits there. He had, I guess, he had the full GW paint rack, but I would say it had about 30 paints on it max. So I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. 'Cause it always used to be one of our go-to hobby shops. We used to have a bit of a kind of trifecta of shops we go to.
We don't have many, but that was
the area we live isn't great for hobby shops, I would say.
No, compared to
you go to Nottingham or any like bigger city. Where we are, the closest decent one I'd say now is about an hour away. We have got one that's closer, but it's more of a board game magic shop.
Yes.
They don't really do. They have a bit of GW, but it's kind of like one little shelf. They don't really, it's more a board game.
Yeah, they haven't got the full
range. But when I say dedicated hobby, tabletop
but
shop,
isn't a Warhammer store.
Yeah, it isn't a Warhammer store. It's about an hour away.
Yeah.
Anyway, so got my glue because he still had that. Went up to the till and I kind of, he was ringing it through, and I was like, oh, you're a bit low on your water, kind of. Why is the Warhammer Games Workshop a bit low? And he was like, I don't go there very often, so he's not. I wouldn't say that I've got a good rapport with him. He's not going to, tell me his life story or how his business works. But he kind of more or less, it's like, I'm not really stocking it anymore. I'm just selling off what I've got left. I was like, oh, any reason? Again, didn't really go into much detail, but he was kind of, long story short, it's not selling. He said it doesn't sell in the area. He's had a few people come in, pick up a kit. How much? Put it back down, walk out. Again, I don't think you want to say too much, but he said it's just a pain to get hold of stock. Yeah. Which I know
we've heard bits and bobs, but
he said basically it's just a bit of a nightmare to get hold of stock, and it's too expensive basically for his customers. He said. I was like, oh, okay. So, well, I said, oh, any other ranges you're thinking of getting in? He had a bit of like D&D stuff in, so I don't know whether or not he's going to start going that way. So really, for us, it was like another one bites the dust, I suppose. Yeah. Another hobby shop near us that's kind of given up stock in Warhammer because of pricing and, GW in general, I think. So the kind of topic I thought maybe we could just touch on today would be kind of, is Warhammer too expensive? Which, again, this isn't a GW bash. Oh, I hate GW. I'm not. That wasn't the intention of the topic. It was more of I don't even
really. It's posing the question.
Yeah, because I don't even really know myself. I have seen it before in past when I've been into shops and people have been like, oh, this is cool. And, they'll pick up a box of Space Marines or whatever. Yeah. The mum will come over and she'll be like, oh, no, put that back. You see like, nearly £40 for like 5 models or whatever it is, So, I just thought we could maybe have a chat about that, discuss the current GW situation, what people think, ask, more for you guys. Really, what do you think? Is it too expensive? Because I don't really, I have my leanings. But...
Yeah, I was going to say, we naturally lean, we were kind of saying just now that we naturally kind of, one of us leans, we're both sort of near the centre, but one of us leans one way and one of us leans the other. So I kind of, when it's a case of is it too expensive, I always come to, that's essentially saying, is it good value? So maybe that's subjective, but I feel like what Games Workshop offer in terms of like the holistic experience.
Holistic? Get you and your people there.
I feel like it is still good value. I wouldn't say, there's no ceiling, because what they offer is brilliant and you get to be part of the community and all that bollocks. But I do think currently where it's at, it is affordable. It's a progressive hobby. I kind of look at it, when you look at something like Magic, for example, you'd be like, it's a bit of card.
Yeah.
Is it massively overpriced? But it's the same thing. You've created the community. You've got, it's the fact that they kind of offer that complete package.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where it's why I kind of didn't want to say, yes, Warhammer's too expensive. Yes. No, it's not too expensive, but it's because it is a very subjective thing, isn't it? Someone might walk in, see a box of 10 Space Marines or whatever for £45, whatever the price is, and be like, yep, not even think about it. Whereas I'd go in and think, bloody hell, 10 Space Marines.
Also, I think you've got the problem. Problem's not really the right word, but you've grown up with Warhammer.
Yes.
So it's got more and more and more and more expensive. Whereas I'm kind of coming in. So I've done Warhammer like throughout, you know, from like early teens to now. But I feel like I'm really getting into it at that later age, kind of like 30 to 40 age. And I feel like, depending on how your life's going, it's kind of like, it's more about the enjoyment of the hobby and less about how much, you see what I mean? Like, how much investment it takes.
But if it's about the enjoyment of the hobby, do you need to go and spend that much money on a box of plastic models when you could go to a competitor? You could go to, you know, Warlord Game. That's historical, so that's not really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Legion, for instance, but then Legion is quite expensive.
That's kind of, I wanted to kind of, that leads on to a point I wanted to make, which was, I know we've spoken before about, Warhammer's really expensive, and you get all those people when the price rises going, you know, it's more than inflation, all the normal stuff, you know, that comes around every time there's a general election.
Yeah.
But
we're comparing Warhammer to a general election.
But I would say, do you think other companies are catching up in terms of, I don't know, the value, the expense? So I feel like 2-3 years ago, it was, Warhammer's really expensive. You can buy a box of Rumble Slam crew, or this or that. I feel like certainly over the last maybe year, and I know generally everything's gone up.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah.
You know, coming down now, but it was crazy. You know, you look at a box from AMG, for example, you know, of Dark Troopers.
Yeah, that's
you know,
brutal.
you think,
are
GW expensive?
Yeah.
You know, you look at it and you think, are they? You know, it's.
But then again, in my argument, we're not, you know, it's not an argument, but
no, we're arguing.
No, we're arguing. You are. That's it. Delete Sprue Goons. We're done. But my kind of argument to that would be, in terms of Legion, at least, yes, it's expensive, but you get that box for £50, whatever it is, you are done. That is that is one unit of models you can't add to. You get everything you need in there, data cards, tokens. That is a complete unit. You buy, again, I'm trying to think, you buy a box of 10 models from GW.
Yeah. Intercessor,
whatever. Again, I don't really collect 40k, so I'm not up on what exact amounts are in boxes. But say you want a unit of 20, and you want to make that unit of 20, you know, you want to make it a unit of 20, you've got to buy one box of £45, and then you've got to buy another box of £45. It was part of the reason that Old World kind of, or Warhammer Fantasy kind of died off. It got so expensive. I remember playing that, and I played Dark Elf, and I wanted a unit of, like, you needed 30, 40 Witch Elves. That's great. But they're selling a box of 10 for, like, back then, £25, £20. Okay, so I need 4 boxes. So you're looking at like £80 for one unit.
Yeah.
So things like that, I think, don't help. Yes, Legion is expensive, but you kind of get a complete unit in a box. Whereas like GW, some units you don't need anymore, but Tyranids you might find, you get a box of 10, but you need 30 in a unit of them.
And what would you say if, for example, because I did think with the Legion thing, it's like, you need less, but box of Dark Troopers is RRP's what,
55, I think.
£55.
I think.
For what, 6 models?
6 or 7, yeah. Because you get all the heavy weapon options in the box, don't you? So you don't use them all, but you get every option you could possibly need.
The Combat Patrol is £75.
Yeah.
And that's, the Eldari one, what, 24 models?
No, it's £75 with a discount. You'd be unfair there.
That is with a discount.
You're doing full RRP for Legion, you're doing discount.
Okay.
So £90.
Full RRP, £90. And my Tyranid Combat Patrol is, 30-something models in there for £90?
Yeah, 30, I think. 30 models.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And that is all you need?
Yeah, well, yeah, but they don't want you to stop there, do they? The idea is to get you in the door.
Neither do AMG.
But, no, true. But I do think going away from that part side, obviously we can argue all day about what's more, if it's expensive or not. But I do feel it is a problem that the way James do that every time.
Yeah, we might as well just call him James Workshop.
James Workshop. I do feel it's a problem how James Workshop are treating hobby stores.
Yes. Yeah,
because
that's kind of back to the
because obviously that's my point original. The way they treat smaller hobby stores, like I know recently. Well, I say recent, it was last part of last year. I think they I can't remember exactly what it was, but they reduced the discount that I think it was that hobby shops get. So they have to pay more for the product from GW, which means then they have to pass the price on to the customer.
Yeah.
So Games Workshop get more money. They don't come out as the bad guys because they're not upping their prices, but the friendly local game stores have to buy the stuff. On top of that, I know that Games Workshop have been restricting how much stock friendly, the hobby shops can get, or putting it, you can't get there, you have to wait 6 weeks for that to come through. A few YouTube videos like Mighty Lancer Games have been saying about how they've been waiting for stock to come through because Games Workshop make them wait. It's all for Games Workshop so they can funnel people to pay full RRP on their web store, which I understand they do. They're a business, they want to make money, they've got shareholders to
also please, I think I've got kind of like a little bit of experience with that kind of thing, but what I find interesting is that you can't price fix in the UK, so you can't tell someone what to sell it at.
No.
Now, what that means is when Games Workshop sells to a retailer, that retailer can sell it for whatever they want. Now, Games Workshop really, if you're a good brand, you'd be selling at your RRP, which they do. But the problem with that is no one goes there because all their retailers are undercutting them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how companies like Apple do it, but nobody sells an Apple product for less than the RRP. Currys don't do it. No Argos don't do it. No one, no resellers can sell it. Same with Dyson, can sell it other than the RRP. Now, I wonder whether that's what Games Workshop want.
Yeah, they'd either want that or they'd want to funnel everyone.
So they're saying to the retailer, if you're going to knock 20 quid off it, this is your price. We're not giving you. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably why they've upped the price.
You're selling it at £20 under, so that's not.
That's probably why they've increased the price it costs them.
Yes.
So they have to pass that cost on to the customer, which then makes their well, it's only 85 at the friendly local game store, but you can come to a Warhammer shop and get it for 90.
Yeah.
They obviously want to.
Ultimately, actually, it means the consumer pays more, but in the US they call it I don't know if they can price fix in the US because you can price fix in the US. It's not only in the UK, not only in the UK, but I know compared to the two. But what it does mean is everyone sells at the same price,
right?
Which is quite good for the community because you get, say, your local hobby store. You know that when you buy a Games Workshop product, you are paying that price. You don't have to shop around.
Yeah.
You go to your local hobby store. It kind of sounds weird, but it almost supports if everyone adheres to it, which they couldn't in the UK anyway, because they can't enforce it. But if everyone adheres to it, it kind of benefits the retailer because it's saying, we sell Games Workshop and we sell it for the retail like everyone else. Yeah,
but then I would come back to, but the retail is too high.
Yes.
Which is why people
shop, I would agree with you.
Which is why people shop around.
Yeah.
But then it is going to kill small hobby shops that rely on the Warhammer.
Yes, to bring people in.
Because you think anyone, like we've said before, and everyone knows who does Warhammer, you can go into nearly any hobby shop, in the UK at least. I know it's different for other countries, but in the UK, most hobby shops you can go into and you'll see a rack of Warhammer. You'll see a point of sale of something for Warhammer. If they start upping their prices or cutting out upping the cost to the third party retailer, they're either going to stop selling it or they're going to have to sell it at RRP.
Yeah.
Which then people will be like, well, like you said, I would rather go to the Warhammer shop and be part of the community and go there.
Yeah. Which is what they want.
If you've got a Warhammer shop near you. Yeah. Or people will be like, I'm not doing Warhammer anymore. I'll go on eBay, I'll get it from second-hand markets.
Yeah.
Which then means that shop is losing revenue, which means they might have to close, which shrinks the
Which I think
community.
Is, unfortunately, I think the high street is dying a little bit.
It is.
I don't know whether that is of inevitable.
But then even taking away the high street, going online.
Same online, yeah.
You know, I don't want to have to go to...
You could offer free shipping, but apart from that, you haven't really got anything to tempt people.
No. So that kind of goes full circle in. Do you think initially that Warhammer is too expensive?
I think the RRP is steep, yeah. Yeah.
I think
I can still argue that it's good value, but it's not a very strong argument.
I think it's that people go, well, if you break it down, that model that cost me £40, I'm going to get 15 hours of enjoyment out of that. Yeah, I don't care.
That wasn't a good impression of me.
No, it wasn't. But my point is, it's still too much initially, I think.
Yeah. I think again, you do suffer from having been in the hobby for so long. You know, because it's...
I remember when you buy like a box of 10 Dark Ale for £7, or wherever it was cheap.
Yeah.
It was like, what? But now one box of Dark Ale would cost you like £35. But I think that I've completely lost what I was going to say.
I was just thinking that when I was selling my Lumineth, I was surprised at how expensive they were.
Oh, well, when you went to see the RRP, yeah.
You know, it was like 10 Sentinels was like 35 quid for 10 bone mark.
Bearing in mind how many
£10.50 a model.
That's a good example. How many bowmen would you need in a unit? When you're looking at it, most people say you need 20 in a unit.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. That's over £70
for a unit.
For one unit. The problem with Games Workshop is I've heard it said before, and I think it's true, they price their big army games like a skirmish game.
Yes, yeah.
So I don't mind paying, like we were saying about Malifaux earlier, I don't even bat an eyelid about paying £45-50 for a crew for Malifaux. Because that, a bit like Legion, that is done.
Yeah.
You buy that crew, you paint it up, the 7-8 models, I'm done. I can play a full game of Malifaux now. I buy a box of Cities of Sigmar, Steelhelm, you know, the box standard men, 10 men.
Henchmen or...
not
the henchmen, I know, man-at-arms kind of
the infantry, the bog standard 10 men for £27, with a discount, that is, I think, in our local gaming shop. But I need at least 20. So over 50 quid for one unit. And I need 2 units of those. So you're looking like £400 or £500 for a full army, which I know is part of the experience and that's what people want. But I just think I don't think it's good value, personally. And don't get me wrong, the models are the best, some of the best in the world. But I wouldn't, for me, I wouldn't say they are the best. I know some people get on there, they make the best models in the world, and that's the end of that. I don't think they do. They make some of the best models, and some of the models are stunning. You know, I was just gushing about the gnomes. Oh my God, they're gorgeous. But
I think I'd like to do an exercise where you work, because I think that like not all armies are created equal. You know, I think that I'd like to do what's the cheapest army you can do and what's the most expensive army you can do. Because I do think that, some armies, if you choose to do them, or especially armies where they don't do a combat patrol, you know, are really expensive, like you say, 500-600 quid. Whereas there are some armies where I bought 2 of the Start Collecting boxes.
But your Games
for
Workshop,
like £90.
Yeah, Games Workshop.
That's an army.
Kind of got wise to that.
Yeah, that's 1,400 points for 90 quid.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
They've kind of got wise to it. I don't think you can really get anything like that anymore.
No, but what I would say is, are there? So if you came to me and said, I've been doing Warhammer for 20 years and I'm fed up, it's too expensive, don't want to do it anymore. What company would offer you the same, a like for like, experience.
And this is where my argument completely falls apart. And I will admit it. There is no other company as big as them that offer the same experience in the tabletop space. I know there isn't. I'm not really, AMG, they're great. They do it, but they're nowhere near. Yeah. No other war game is. And Games Workshop almost know. It's almost that Apple. It's almost that Apple effect. Yeah. You want an Apple phone, you will pay the price. Well, if it's too, don't care. If you want it, you'll buy it. Yeah. It's like that with Games Workshop. What? £35 for 10 models? Well, you want to play the game? Well, yeah. My local store's having a tournament and I want to play. £35 then, please. Oh, okay. That's the thing, though. And I don't think there are better alternatives not for the games. There's better games. There's a lot of better games than Games Workshop games. There's most games are better than Games Workshop's games in terms of rules and gameplay. But for that community, for that, I can walk into any hobby shop that hosts games and play Warhammer. Yeah. You can't do that if we got into Malifaux, you'd be the only person I'd know that does Malifaux.
Yeah, we'd have a game, but that's it.
Yeah, there'd be a group. I'm sure you could find a group online. There'd be people that play but it's not as easy as just walking into a shop and go, I bought my army, what's the game? Oh yeah, I'll have a game. I've got my Necron, let's go.
Yeah, like if you moved to wherever and I was like, that's it now. Yeah. Like I know that if I had a 40k army, fine, I'd probably have a game a week.
Yeah. Which is again, that's another thing, going rewinding back to what we were saying earlier about Malifaux. Great, it's a good idea to start, but I should big boy pan it and just get a combat patrol because again, like you said, it's almost, and little thing as well, it sounds awful, and I've said it before, but not quite that expensive, but the resale value is always high on Games Workshop models. You might not necessarily make your money back, but you won't be far off. No.
So, especially if you painted it well.
We'll look at, again, it's a bit of an exclusive. Saying about the Eldari, I have kind of sold some of it off. And I've sold the jet bikes and the Wraith Lord, and I've nearly made the money back with the combat patrol.
Yeah, which is crazy.
What? I've still got them fast here, and you're using the Guardians for some contrast corner. So it's like, that's crazy.
It's an investment.
It almost is.
Yeah, it's an asset.
Because I've sold those 2 units, and that will buy my combat patrol. So essentially, I'm getting a new combat patrol for nothing, but it's just choosing the right one.
It's like buying art. Is it too expensive?
Especially when I painted. But no,
I would say, interesting with the kind of Apple analogy, I would say is part of the appeal. This sounds weird saying it, but is part of the appeal that it is expensive. It's a bit of a luxury product.
Yeah, because people get
within the industry.
Yeah, they get invested into it.
You're like, I only do Warhammer. Yeah, because I've got an iPhone.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of that. That's why people get so upset or annoyed when Games Workshop get rid of an army or nerf their army. I know AdMech have got a really bad codex apparently, right? And I know that people are, really, because they're invested. And you can't blame them. Yeah. I've spent, 500 quid. I painted this army. Yeah. And
it's like losing a pet.
Yeah. It's like, what's a waste of money? Yeah. I understand people being invested in it. But I got a question. And do you think Games Workshop's aim, is to kill off local game stores selling their product? I didn't really word that very well, but I know what you're trying to say.
I don't know if it's necessarily their aim, but I do think
they won't mind if it happens.
No, they won't mind if it happens, and I do think it's kind of natural selections are not necessarily the right term, but it's sort of inevitable. I think.
I agree.
I think you'll get the online retailers, but I think you'll see it in loads of industries. But direct sales is what will be. It's sort of the age of data. We're in the age of data. Data is what everyone wants. It's what Amazon wants. It's what Facebook wants. It's what Google want. So they want to know, and I wouldn't say rightly so, but they've created a product. They want to know everyone that's using it. They want to know everyone that's buying it. They want to be able to sell more of it.
And they want to keep their shareholders happy.
Exactly.
So, yeah, more money that funnels through them. That's what I understand it from a business point of view.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it feel any better from a, like a gamer's point of view or hobbyist point of view,
no.
I don't think.
No, oh no. Yeah, that's completely my sort of, my kind of business view on it. My gaming view is, I don't really know. I almost want to say resistance is futile, but do you know what I mean? It's but buy what you want to buy. Don't buy what's too expensive. Play, invest it. Maybe don't invest in too many systems. I think this is expensive. Terribly. This is expensive. Yeah. But if you just did Necromunda or you just did Blood Bowl, probably not that expensive. It's only because well, let's do everything. Yeah, no, I need like $3,000.
Do you think, going on a bit what you said about companies offering the same experience, or
yes,
do you think any other companies are catching up to threaten Games Workshop to maybe make them rethink their business plan?
I don't think they are.
No, I don't think.
Unfortunately,
it makes me sad to say it, but again, if you think we're wrong, say
the thing that's going for Games Workshop is they've got such a massive heritage. I can't think other than say Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, but that's a different.
But I don't think I could. I think they would be dethroned easier than Games Workshop. I think Games Workshop are so heavily rooted.
It's their law there, especially their 40k the IP of 40k.
It's I don't know. It's sort of like trying to de-root Lord of the Rings. It's ingrained.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Well, it's that thing that you say to anyone. Oh, I paint miniatures. Oh, what, Warhammer?
Yeah.
So everyone has heard of it or know. Most people have heard of it or know what it is. So yeah, again, another topic. We've gone round in circles, so we don't really know the answer.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? No, it's not. You decide.
I think one thing that almost answers it is, I feel like if you're asking if it's too expensive, it's like, well, has the demand dropped? No.
Oh, well,
so
I don't know.
It's almost like it's kind of the basic laws, which are all the time the supply is there. All the time the demand is there. Then,
do you think they're getting close to a ceiling in terms of pricing? Because I think a price increase is coming, especially with the end of year coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, we've had to increase costs. Oh, it's really tough being Games Workshop. We've had to put our prices up. All that. Yeah. I think there's a price increase coming, which could be a good discussion.
That'll probably be in the summer, yeah.
But do you think they could possibly reach a ceiling? Do you think they could get to a point where people are like, no, too much?
I think so. I think
you'll always have those people that will, spend £100 on 5 models.
Oh, definitely. And that's kind of, it's interesting that I think we underestimate how much of Games Workshop's core is made up of those people.
I know one.
It's I think the stats are crazy on something like GTA 5. The online spend, it's something like 95% of the spend is by 5% of the players. It's something crazy, and I think that's kind of what we're looking at with the GW. It's their core are diehard.
Oh yeah.
I still think so what it is the people that kind of make a noise and get pissed off. I don't think they're the core. I think they're the stragglers. Yeah. They're the natural wastage. When they put the prices up.
Well, our product isn't for you anyway.
Yeah.
Off you go. And I do fall in that category.
Yeah.
So
we've got the iPhone. You want something else? You that's fine. You go for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of their.
So what phone have you got?
It's iPhone.
Yeah, I've got I'm Android. So
but you got Google Pixel. I'll let you off.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's good of you.
Google and Apple.
Yeah.
They're good.
But yeah, so I think kind of anything else you would bring up? I think we kind of that's run its course. I think. And be going around in circles. But
I think so, yeah.
As with most of our topics, we didn't really come to any conclusion. But
take all that from.
Yeah, is Warhammer too expensive? Kind of.
What did we say last time? You decide.
You decide.
No. Well, ultimately, they will decide.
They will decide, but I think I personally, my closing statement is I think they will reach a point where people are like, no.
I think if it was, I said like it's £35 for 10 bowmen, or sentinels, or sentinels.
Sorry to interrupt. I've got a good question for you, being not Mr. Games Workshop, but
Mr. James Workshop.
Oh, Mr. James Workshop. What price would you be like? No.
I think it would.
So you want to start the Dark Oath? That box isn't coming out. They've got a box of 10 Dark Oath Savages. You know, the core battle line, unit for AOS. You need 20 in a box. In a unit, sorry.
Okay.
So you need to buy 2 boxes. What would be your price? You'd be like, no, I'm not paying that. Because I'm kind of getting there. Personally, for me, it's getting to that point now.
What are you thinking they'll be? Like 35 quid for 10?
Yeah, I'm guessing though. Again, just £35 for 10. So what price point would you turn around and go, no, I can't afford that. You know, I cannot afford that.
I don't know, 50 quid for 10?
Yeah.
That's extortionate.
I don't think it'll be that far away from that. I really don't. I think a couple of years you'll be looking at about £50 for a box of 10 models. I think. Could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I'd like to be proven wrong completely, but
£5 a model feels like a lot.
I think I think it hovers around there, doesn't it? 35, 32.
That said, if the RRP was 50, but you could get them for 40, you see what I mean? It's the game needs to change quite a bit. So, for example, if you said, in 2 years' time they're £50, you can only get them from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I'd probably still buy them. I don't even know why. But I'd have to, mainly because I think that certainly over the last couple of years, what's way more important to me is buying something that you really want to paint.
I was going to say,
the amount of things that we've bought, doesn't matter how expensive they are, if they're going to sit in your cupboard, or they're going to stay grey, or you're going to get halfway through and go, I'm not interested. Like, I'd rather spend 50 quid and be like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, I was literally gonna fucking make myself look like a complete idiot and say it does depend how invested you are.
Yes.
Because if they say, I don't know, say next week I decide, you know what, Leagues of Votan, gonna get them, and I get the box set and I love them. Oh my god, Darren, these are fucking great. I'm in love. This is my army. You know, Legion gets put to one, everything. And then they do a price rise, and it's like, oh, it's going to cost me £45 for a box of Votan, but I'll probably buy it because I want to carry it because I fucking love them.
Yeah, and I think you would buy it. A whale. Harpoon me.
That's a whale. Not very good.
Good.
It's like Chewbacca more than a whale.
Hang on.
Fine.
There.
Get your buns
on. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's that thing of it would probably stop you buying so many models, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
No, true.
You know, it'd be like it's a more considered. I'm not saying buying models isn't a considered purchase, but if it was, I've got a Leagues of Votan army. These new berserkers have got, oh my god, they got massive out. They look brilliant, but they're 45 quid for 5. You know, it's brutal. But then you're like, I keep looking at them, you know, and not really interested in painting anything else at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, do I want to get 2 boxes of something I don't want to paint, or do I want to get those 5 berserkers?
It's like for instance, a good example is like Game Pass. I've got Game Pass on my Xbox. And because I've got Game Pass, pay it every month, I'll download a game that comes onto Xbox, Game Pass, play it for like 20 minutes and go, nah, delete, don't play that. If I'd gone and bought that game for like 50, 60, 70 pounds now, I'd be like, no, I'm finishing this game because I've spent 65 quid on it. I'm going to see it through. It's almost that kind of feeling with tabletop games, I think, miniatures. If I buy that Combat Patrol, even though I did sell the Odari one, but if I bought that Combat Patrol, I'd be like, no, I'm painting this because I spent a lot of money on it, and I don't really want to.
Thing is, it come kind of I'm looking to my left, thinking, your point stacks up. Band of Brothers, we got it really cheap, 50 quid.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah. There.
Yeah. In the box.
Yeah.
Hasn't come out yet.
Mm.
If I'd spent 100 quid on that'd have been built and I'd built a board already.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, yeah.
Don't sell your models too cheap, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I do think other companies, one other thing is, I do think other companies see the trend in GW and think, well, they can charge. AMG, I think, are a bit guilty of it. I know they're a big company. They're run by Asmodee, but they, Games Workshop charged, I can't think of an example. They've just charged £155 for their Bretonian Old World box set. And that's got like 28-year-old models in it. Mm. Well, I think we'd normally charge, 80 quid, but we could probably put it to 100.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to pay 155 for that, they're not going to bat an eyelid at 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of pushes the rest of the market.
And the thing is, with something like Star Wars Legion, you've got that grip, which is the IP grip, which is they can go for it. They've got the IP, same as Games Workshop. They've got the IP. Whereas if someone like TT Combat said, "Oh, Games Workshop have charged this. We're going to charge £40 for our new rest."
Yeah. What? Yeah.
No one knows about it. It's not, you haven't got an IP. You have, but do you know what I mean? It's not
an IP that's well known.
Yeah.
But I do think it does push the market up. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not a financial analyst.
No, I think you're right, yeah.
But I think everyone else sees Games Workshop pushing their price up and they think, well, as long as we stay lower, like Mantic, I understand companies have costs, I understand everything's going up. I'm not saying they're doing it for no reasons, but Mantic used to be so cheap and their sculpts have got better. Yeah. So, you can't really say, well, their sculpts aren't any good. No, their sculpts are better. So, but it's that thing, they probably think, well, Games Workshop charge £100 for that box set. We could charge 80 and it's still, that's cheaper than Games Workshop, but they're still making a profit. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. Is Warhammer too expensive? You decide.
Yes.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hang on.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That was really old, wasn't it? No.
Right. Time for Sprue or False.
Sprue or False. Sprue or False. We need to get some graphics or something done because that's really crap. It's your turn this week, isn't it? Give me some.
It's my turn, yeah.
Oh, God.
So, Sprue or False. A model painted with an airbrush looks better than a model painted with a brush. Sprue or False.
Oh, now that... I would say it probably depends more on the ability of the painter. Because if I tried to airbrush a model now, I could probably do a better job with a brush.
Yeah.
I think...
No, we're talking... Well, the level is the same.
Okay.
So... It's...
Mad skills with both.
Mad skills with both.
See, I don't know if you can completely airbrush a model without paintbrush. I don't think that's possible. I think you would need a paintbrush at some point. So I'm going to say false. I don't think it's better. I think I don't think it's even doable, I would say.
Yeah, but I would say, it's interesting. I suppose, the look of a model that's been airbrushed.
Are you talking about like OSLs,
yes.
blends?
Yeah. Can you do with a brush what you can do with an airbrush? That's not the Sprue or False, but
I think you can, but it's a lot harder, I would say. So I've completely forgotten the question now. What was it?
So does a model that's been airbrushed look better than a model that's been painted solely with the brush?
I'm going to say Sprue. I think it would look better with an airbrush. If you incorporate that into your painting than just painting with a paintbrush, because you'll get nicer OSLs, you'll get nicer blends with the colours, depending what you're using it for, obviously. Yeah. But I would say Sprue. But I feel like that one's going to get some heat. But yeah, I'd say Sprue.
I think I agree. I think if you had a model that you use the airbrush on, so the blends were seamless, and a model that you didn't, regardless of maybe the blends are seamless on that one as well. But to the untrained eye, people don't know about airbrushes or what technique you've used, which model looks better, I think it would be the one with the airbrush.
Yeah, no, I think Sprue. Yeah, Sprue. Not a confident Sprue, but I think Sprue.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
This is one specifically for you.
Oh, God.
Do you need to be old to play historical games? Sprue or false?
I would say false. You don't need to be old to play historical games. Just most older gentlemen and ladies play historicals. I'm heading that way. I would love a historical army.
But is it that most old people play historicals, or most people that play historicals are old?
I would say it's most people that play historicals are old. But I don't think you need to be old to play historicals. I wouldn't class myself as old, and I would happily play historicals.
That's why I posed it.
Yeah, you bastard. Thanks for that. Would you play historicals?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not old, you're younger than me.
No.
So, there you go. False.
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 Strong false.
Strong false.
So, last one. If you're playing an army, you should always have the aspiration to play it fully painted. Sprue or false?
Sprue. You should have the aspiration to always fully paint it. Obviously, I don't think it matters if you play it partly unpainted or you want to try a unit out. We've done it. Yeah. I haven't painted this unit yet, but I'm going to give it a go. And then you play that unit. Yeah. Oh my God, it kind of spurs you on to paint it if they don't die instantly like Ahsoka. But no, I would say, I forgot what I said now. False. Did I say false?
No, you said Sprue.
Sprue, God.
No, you should have...
Maybe I am old enough to play historical.
No, you should have, I believe, well, I agree, but I think you should have the aspiration.
Yeah,
what you're saying is you should have the aspiration to fully paint your army. But a lot of people would disagree with that and say, well, I don't want to fully paint my army.
Yeah, because some people are more like the gaming side. They don't care about the painting side.
But we would say from a purist point of view.
Yeah. The idea, the dream is to have a fully painted army that you can play a game with. Yeah, Sprue. 100% Sprue, in my opinion.
Right, that's it. That concludes Sprue or false.
Well, on to the next one. Paint, grey, eBay. Right, let me whack out the phone. We've got 3 this week, and let me just get the pictures up so Darren can look at them. Oh, wrong pictures. Let me just get rid of them. So, shall I go first, or do you want to go first? You came up with these 3, so should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
So we've got the first one is the, what is his name? You're going to get an overlay picture up somewhere, aren't you? It's basically the superstar for the new gnome team. I did know his name and it's completely slipped my mind. I think I'm getting dementia because of a few things tonight I've just got completely wrong. But obviously there'll be a picture here somewhere. Yeah. I'm pointing in every direction because I don't know where Darren's going to put it. So it'll be on the screen, but he's the superstar for the gnomes. He's absolutely brilliant. Then you've got the leader I spoke about earlier for the Dark Oath Savages army. He's on a barbarian on a horse with a skull. Looks absolutely brilliant. Again, picture here. And then the Saviors of Cinderfall. Is it a box from? I'm not sure if it's like a Warhammer Plus show where they've made the models for it.
Yeah, it's the.
It's like a special collector's box of. Yeah. Again, here.
Yeah, and I think you can use them in Warcry.
You could probably use them in both Warcry and Age of Sigmar. Yes. They normally do that. They normally release Rule 3. So straight away, easy for me. My paint is the gnome because he probably will be purchased and painted at some point. So that's kind of that's just the inevitability. That's not will I buy it and paint? No, I will buy it and I will paint it. So that's that. Actually, really easy for me this week.
Yeah.
I would leave Gray, the Dark Oath guy, because he's, again, brilliant model. Love it. I'm not really that bothered about barbarians and Dark Oath in general, but I really like that model. Yeah. I love the horse. I love the pose of the guy on top. He looks like he's about to fuck shit up. Yeah. I like that model. That's a great model.
He's angry.
He's very angry. Well, I would do a black horse.
Oh?
That's just personal preference.
Can't say that.
Too late, it's said. It's out there. And then for me, Leave Grey is the Saviors of Cinderfall. Yeah, all right. Just a couple of nice models. Don't really care about the Griff Hound. Don't really care about that guy there with the pistols. don't even know what that one is with the cat. Is that a vampire? This looks weird.
Mm.
That guy at the top there with the hook.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a Blood Bowl, an old Blood Bowl superstar, as an assassin, elf assassin, a sword rather than a hook. But the way he's looking with the cloak over his face, he reminds me of that model. And yeah, I'm a Stormcast.
Yeah, I mean the Stormcast sort of.
So for me, it's easy. It's paint the gnome, leave grey the Dark Oath, and eBay the Saviours of Cinderfall. Over to you, Mr. Darren.
Yeah, I love that gnome. That's so cool. I think it's pretty easy for me as well.
Well, I like to guess yours every week. You're going to paint the Dark Oath, you're going to leave grey the gnome, and you two are going to eBay the Saviours. Have I got it?
You have.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah, but
I'll let you do your reasons.
There'll be a little bit of a caveat.
Oh.
I love that.
Really?
Model with the two pistols.
It doesn't do anything for me.
And
that one. Yeah, that one's cool.
The vampire. The vampire hunter. Sorry,
Witch hunter.
With the witch
Is
hunter
that a witch?
with
The one with the cat?
Stakes.
Up there? Oh no, it's a human. I saw the face and thought it was a vamp. I don't know why I thought it was.
Cat's quite cool.
Yeah, but no.
There's some cool models in there, but Dark Oath, straight in.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
That's like a no-brainer.
I will be painting that.
Yeah, be like me with the nut. Yeah.
So, gnomes, leave grey. I'd love the whole Blood Bowl team. So much character in that. That's so cool. So paint Dark Oath, grey gnomes, and eBay Cinderfall.
So when you the gnome, was that the whole gnome team or just that superstar in general? Either way, it's the same result.
That superstar. But
because you said the gnome, I didn't know if you meant the whole team. Either way, it's the same. But yeah. Okay, well that was a quick one this week because pretty straightforward, nice and easy. Okay, last part, listeners' questions. So again, thanks guys for the questions. So we'll start with the first one. Notorious Minis. Is it okay to be stuck at your own skill level, or should you learn new techniques? So this is for me, it depends what you're going for in the project you're painting.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I think we've said before, this is an army, I just want to whack it out, get it on the table and get playing. I wouldn't worry about pushing yourself. I would just get your head down and get it done. If you're like, I want to push myself in this piece, enter a competition, really push myself on this warband for Warcry or Malifaux or whatever, then I think you should try and learn new techniques, research new things. I think in general, as a rule of thumb, you probably should always be looking at new techniques or finding out about new
trying
techniques.
Stuff out. Don't be too scared as well.
When I first heard of glazing, I was like, what's glazing? So I, did the YouTube searches, watched some videos, did some Googling.
Yeah.
I do think you should always be looking to push yourself, but I don't think you should always try and push yourself. I think it depends on what you're aiming for in what you're
I suppose
painting. It's
a case of is it okay to be stuck at a skill level? I think if you're
happy with it.
Well, if you're I don't know, stuck's interesting, isn't it? Because that implies that you're
not able to
get get to that next level. So it's a case of it might be, I can wet blend, I can glaze, I can this, I can that, my models look good, but they're never going to win that Golden Demon. And I think I'd be okay with my level being stuck there, but it depends.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? I don't like, a bit like, I know we've said before with the painting competitions episode, where your painting's good and you don't have a desire to paint at a Golden Demon level, even though you knew that if you put in 6 hours a day for the next year, you would be able to.
Yeah.
But you're sort of like, no, that's not. So, in a sense, are you stuck?
Yeah, I suppose I personally, maybe I am stuck at a certain level, but a bit like you said, it's not a case of being stuck because I haven't got the skill to go higher. It's because I
You're happy with that level?
I like where I am.
Yeah.
I know I can push myself and do wet blending, glazing, feathering. You know, I can do all that. But at the same time, if I'm like, I just want to get my head down and get this model painted for a game, then I can do that as well.
You can get something done and be really happy.
But I do think you should always try and push yourself to learn new things. Yes. When I hear about new things, I'm like, right, what's that? And I look into it and I'll try it myself. So, you know, I do think you should. I think it's okay to be stuck if you're happy. Yeah, like you said, really.
Depends whether you're happy at that level.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think
but
you should.
Stuck, for me, sounds like you're not happy at that level.
Yeah. Stuck is a. Because I wouldn't say I'm stuck. I know I could push it, but I choose not that I choose not to, but I don't have a. Yeah. If I woke up tomorrow, I was like, right, I'm going to enter Golden Demon. I know I could have the ability
be like, right, I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I know what I need to improve.
I don't know if we answered that, but no, I
think it depends. Yeah, how you feel about being stuck.
Yeah.
But there's so much out there. I almost feel like you can't be stuck.
No, I would say it's hard to be stuck because you can always try and learn new things. I think with painting. So no,
And if Notorious Minis you are stuck, then send us a DM and hopefully we can help.
Or not.
If you're stuck at Golden Demon level, don't message.
Yeah, don't message us because you'll only embarrass us. But yeah. But thanks for the question. I think we kind of answered it. But, so our old mate Mark about Average Minis, he's got us another question. He never fails to let us down, does he?
Good old Mark.
Good old Mark. Hi Mark. Do you have a hobby bucket list? Attend cons, competitions, games to play, etc. Well, I can go straight in with one, which I'm probably not going to happen this year. Well, I know it's not going to happen this year because it's happening soon, but Adepticon.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Adepticon.
Yeah.
That's probably... I say we do most of, if not all of the bigger UK shows. You know, we do Salute. We're going to go to Games Expo. Tickets are all booked for that.
We probably would have gone to Warhammer Fest if it was in the UK.
Yeah, we went last year.
Yeah.
But, we probably would have gone, even though I complained about it constantly. But no, we probably would have gone.
Don't mention Warhammer Fest.
I suppose we're kind of in agreement on the cons.
Yeah, well, I think Adepticon's definitely on my list.
Nova, I'd like to do Nova. That's another one.
And I don't know. I think maybe move to America for a year. And
you know,
Las Vegas Open, Nova.
Yeah, that would be great.
But I wouldn't say they're all on the bucket list for me, but Adepticon is on the bucket list.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Adepticon
is definitely. It's like a 4 or 5 day thing. It's open 24 hours.
Yeah,
you'd be dangerous at that. When we went to Warhammer Fest, it was like we'd eaten dinner at 9:30, 9 at night. You were like, "Should we go back to Element Games?" Darren, it's 9:45 at night. Yeah, let's go back to Element Games. Okay, so we drove back down to Element Game. You'd be like, "Where's Darren? Oh, he's down in the halls. He hasn't slept." He'd find you like propped up against a post at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Just lost his 14th game.
Games to play. Any on the bucket list? I don't think.
Games to play. Bolt Action.
Bolt Action. I know yours.
Lord of the Rings.
40k.
Yeah.
I know you've always wanted to try 40k, and I kind of, again, as we can tell in this episode, I've been holding you back on that one. Yeah, I'd like to try Bolt Action, 40k.
Malifaux.
Malifaux.
The bucket list for games is long.
Yeah.
Dreadfleet.
That's a weird. That's a
Blood Bowl.
That's a dead game. Dreadfleet's not very good. I've played it.
What are you trying to convince me to buy?
It looks nice, and the models are nice to paint, but the game, again, typical Games Workshop. The game itself is a bit. It's okay, but it's
ships.
Yeah, it is ships. Yes. The list for games is long. You could probably name most games. I'd be like, I'd like to play that. Yeah, I'd like to play that.
Yeah. I would say.
No, I don't think it's that much.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking like Infinity, no. War Machine or Hordes, no. There's quite a few. Shatterpoint.
No, I'm not really interested. But no, my top Bolt Action. Malifaux has been in the periphery for years. I'd like to play that.
There's things I'd like to play. A few things like Moonstone. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily on the bucket list.
No, I forgot about Moonstone.
I think bucket list is. Yeah, it is.
The fact that I forgot about it kind of shows that it's
the big ones. It's Malifaux, Bolt Action. We've played Bolt Action, but I think
you've played it properly. I haven't. You've had a proper game. I've played a demo game. You've played a proper,
But this is a case of like what games. I'm thinking bucket list type is I have an army to play that game. So Malifaux, I have a crew to play that game.
Yeah, a combat patrol paint for 40k.
Yeah,
which is going to happen. I think that you're going to beat me on that.
You heard it here first.
Oh.
So Adepticon games, and I definitely on the bucket list is entering Golden Demon for me.
Just Golden Demon, or about the Salute one, or other competitions, or would it have to be Golden Demon?
No, it'd have to be Golden Demon. As in, Golden Demon's on the bucket list. If, in addition to that, I'd probably enter another painting competition.
Yeah,
I'd say like a silver goal is enter a painting competition. But ideally, that painting competition would be Golden Demon.
See, I have no desire to enter a painting competition. Not because I'm worried about losing, because I have no preconceptions that I'll win it at all. But I just don't have that interest in. I'd rather just paint the models I want to paint.
You just want that pin.
I just want that
badly.
I just want to paint the models that I enjoy painting for games. I don't really care about entering for competitions, but that's not on the bucket list at all for me. So, no, it's not at all. I'd happily never do a competition. I feel like you're going to make me.
Oh,
but I don't have any desire to. But yeah, thank you, Mark. Thanks for that one. And the last one from Dadmek, which, let me just say, what a name. Dadmek. That's absolutely brilliant. Love that name. Full top marks for that.
Yeah.
Although I don't think you're going to like my answer to his question. Painting bits while still on the sprue. Why or why not? Because I've done it before on the sprue. You paint them on the sprue. I find it awkward to hold, just get around the sprue. And then when you clip them off, mark the, I've got to mark there. I've then got to scrape that down to get the clip. Obviously, if you get a really good pair of clippers, you can get to it. But
you've still got to paint where
the sprue mark was, and then you glue it on. If you have a bit of which has happened to people, you have a bit of mishap with glue. The plastic glue's run out and it's melted all the paint that I put on another piece.
It's not those faulty glazes I put on there.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know people do it, but I don't do it. I don't like it. I don't think I think it's counterproductive most of the time. I think I'd rather take it off the sprue, clean it up, and then attach it to something and paint it that way if I'm going to do it in sub-assemblies.
Also, another reason why is there's bits of the model that are obscured. I suppose that's kind of a for and against, but there's bits of the model that are obscured once you put it together.
You spend hours painting the back of that cloak, glazing it or whatever, to then stick it to their back, and you're never going to see it. Yeah. You could have left it black, which, like you said.
But the purist in me would say
that's
that's better because I haven't got any bits I can't get to.
Yeah, and I know it's all painted. Which for you would be very kind.
Yeah, but I don't. Naturally, I would say
my go-to
if it was a sprue or false, should you paint miniatures on the sprue?
False,
definitely.
But if it was me, like I said, I wouldn't paint on the sprue. I would take it off the sprue, clean it up, remove all the dotted lines, stick it to something. A bit of dowel, a bit of blue tack. If I'm doing sub assemblies, I would paint it separately that way. I wouldn't paint it on the sprue. No. I've got a friend who does Warhammer. He paints a lot of his on the sprue and then just clips it all off. Quickly paints over the cut marks or tidies them up and sticks it together. It looks fine when it's done, but I sometimes feel like you're making more work for yourself than just either building the model or leaving it in sub-assemblies. So yeah. But thanks, Dad Mick. Great name. Absolutely brilliant name.
Yeah. That was a good topic as well. We've never talked about that before.
No.
So
good question. Very good question.
Yeah. Right. Well, that concludes this episode. Hope you've got absolutely nothing from it. And,
as usual.
Yeah. If you've been painting and we are your only company, I can just apologise.
Yeah, so sorry about that. There's got to be something else you can do. Maybe like
I'd probably just put some music on,
or just watch the model dry. That's what I'd probably do rather than listen to us two idiots go on.
Yeah, don't get the hairdryer out.
Stick it on the radio like you did.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. There'll be I'm sure there'll be loads more kind of content for you guys to enjoy. And
if I get my arse in gear, there will be. I need to get that combat patrol done. Get those gnomes done. But I have been slacking this year, so I'm letting us down.
Yeah.
And on that note,
we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.